beautiful, gorgeous, radiant woman. Welcome to the Radiant One, where we are learning and growing and forming together a beautiful, radiant life from the inside out, so that we can live lives of goodness, beauty, and truth, and that we can learn the skills, we can gain the understanding and the insight on how to do that. Because you know what? The culture's not teaching us how to. Schools are not doing that. So we've got to take the bull by the horns, and we've got to learn how to be radiant as women. And so here we are together doing it. And I'm here to comfort you, encourage you, and inspire you. And today I want to talk about something incredibly important. This principle has changed my life. It has transformed the way I think and feel about myself. It has sharpened my focus. It has helped me know how I want to spend my time. And there is a continual iteration as well in my life of how I can move towards this. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about you as a woman having your own North Star in your life. Each woman must follow her own North Star. What do I mean by that? Well, the sailors back in the day before GPS existed, they would follow the North Star. It would get them through storms, it would keep them orientated, and it would help them get to where they needed to go. That is what they were following, that bright North Star. And we need that as women in our own lives. Now, there are countless, benefits that come from really locking in, as they say, to knowing what your North Star is, exploring it, and actually going after it in life. And I just want to bring to you a few benefits of having your own North Star as a woman. And this is benefits that I have experienced in my own life and continuing to experience. So one of the first things that this is going to bring you having your own North Star, it's going to bring you clarity. It's going to bring you clarity for your day, how you want to spend your time. It's going to help you make decisions when you've got an A and B or 1, 2, 3 decision. You're going to know which one you want to go with, because that's going to, your North Star is drawing you that way. And it's not only clarity in that kind of arena of life, it's also clarity for single women who are dating. Because if you're going into a relationship and your whole life is about finding Mr. Right, that, my dear friend, is not the North Star you want to be following. And there's a few reasons why. If you are making a man your North Star, even if you marry that dear good man and he's a bright shining star in your life, you are going to be putting pressure on that man that he will not be able to sustain. A woman's joy and happiness and beauty has got to come from herself. Her sense of value and her sense of self-worth must not, shall not, we dare say, shall never, ever be coming from another human being. It is sacrilege. It is an absolute devastation and tragedy for a woman to look to a man for her self-worth, for her value, for her sense of purpose. And how do I know this to be true? Well, we can look at all different sources in our reality. Look at women who have chased a man who have settled for somebody who's not actually aligned with who she is. It's never a happy ending, is it? Or look at the rife codependency that we have in our culture. And I'm not judging here, because codependency is something I've had to tackle. And yes, it does come from our wounds, where we should have been built up when we were younger and received our sense of value from growing up in a loving environment. But a lot of us haven't received that. And so we we kind of flounder through life looking for another person to be our North Star. But they cannot be our North Star, because if we put pressure on that person, that relationship is going to crumble. It's going to have stress within it that shouldn't really be there. Because if two people are following their own North Stars and coming alongside each other, then they can empower each other and be compatible within their strengths and weaknesses, and basically support each other to continue pursuing their North Star even within the relationship. The relationship does not become the North Star once you are in it. And so back to that point of putting pressure on someone, if you as a woman have a question mark about yourself, about your value, about your worth, this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem in every area of your life, because in is going to come those little gremlins of self-doubt, of self-criticism, you're not looking after yourself, because looking to the approval of a man to be the motivation to look after yourself is just not sustainable. And so when you have that question mark within yourself that you are wanting another man to answer for you, you are putting some algebra in front of that man, some emotional algebra that poor dear soul has not got the intelligence. I'm not knocking men here. I'm just saying men have not been created to give a woman a sense of worth, value, and to answer the question mark that she has within herself of, am I valuable? So your North Star will bring you value. And how does it do that? Well, if you have got a North Star that God has put in your life, which He's given us all our own North Star, that North Star is going to draw a lot of capacity out of you, a lot of struggle, the good kind, to move towards that North Star. So you're going to have to build your skills, build your emotional intelligence. You're going to have to learn how to communicate well. Boy, don't we all really struggle with really good communication nowadays within all sorts of relationships? It is shocking. We all need to learn good communication. Please, dear Lord, have mercy on us. This is something we all have to work on. But especially for the woman who is following her own North Star, she needs to increase her skills, her capacity, her intelligence, her ability to be a safe place in relationships. Because all these things that she's building in her life, as she's doing it, she is reinforcing within herself that sense of self-value, self-worth, self-sufficiency. And I'm not talking about her becoming a boss babe or somebody who's incredibly independent, doesn't need anyone. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about she is the gardener of her beautiful garden, and she's taking very good care of all the plants within her life, and her garden is flourishing. And when I'm talking about the garden, I'm also talking about just that symbolic place in your mind, looking after your thought life, that garden of your soul, looking after your heart, looking after what you're putting into your life. What are you feeding your eyes, your ears? What nutrition are you giving yourself? So, okay, if we are waiting at our phone for a text and anxious in a relationship about a man, I think that is a good sign that the North Star has been clouded by a fuzzy vision, and we have got to remove those clouds and sharpen that vision onto the North Star. Because if you're so focused and passionate about something that you have been created and designed and endowed by God with the right temperament and personality and the circumstances in your life, you know, that all of that has been given to you to cultivate, that should be taking up all of your time, every moment of the day. And I'm not saying don't rest. Yes, we rest. Rest is very important. We slow down as women. We engage with our femininity, that special essence of what it means to be a woman, which is rest, which is receptivity, which is creating beauty, which is creating a nurturing environment, which is pouring into her own cup so that cup overflows into the lives of others. So the North Star in your life becomes a source of so much goodness, beauty, and truth that you won't be putting pressure on a man to give you your value because, honey, you have already got it. It's already instilled with you in you. Your core, the core of who you are, it's coring. It is flourishing. It is pulsating. It is radiating because your life is full and you're not waiting on anybody to fill it. You are doing that yourself with your God-given power to focus, to create systems in your life that help you achieve what you need to achieve, and using your intelligence and the wealth of accessibility we have to educate ourselves as women in this day and age. We are incredibly blessed. So, do you know what your North Star is? Have you written down the vision of your life? Have you put to pen and paper the woman, the radiant woman, who she is and who you are embodying? Just for example, write down the virtues that you want to embody. Kindness, compassion, generosity, faithfulness, loyalty, all these things that we don't really hear about in our culture anymore, do we? Which is incredibly sad because these are the virtues or the values that we can embody as women. If you become that woman, the impact you will have on your life will be so incredible that when you breathe your last breath, you will be able to smile when you meet the face of God because you know you have done everything in your power to sail towards that North Star. Now, I have a bit of a story, which is one that kind of shocked me into really wanting to grab hold of this. I went to an old age home with a friend. Her father was in it. And while she went off with her father, I made myself busy and started chatting to some of the very ancient people sitting around in kind of the common room. And there was a lady huddled over. She was well into her 90s. And I just felt drawn to her. So I sat with her and I started chatting to her. And she had all her faculties. She was, she was quite with it as a person. And during the conversation, she just said to me, "I've done nothing with my life." And it was a horror for me to hear because whether or not she has done nothing truly, because I'm sure she has done something, that is how she felt. And maybe it's because she knows she didn't follow her North Star or she didn't have a North Star. So I'm here just to warn us as women who are becoming and moving towards day by day radiance, a radiant life. I'm here to warn us that we can and we should, with all of our might, with all of our focus and attention, know what our North Star is. And then we should develop ourselves in every area of our life to move towards that. So that's going to be hard. I'm not saying that's going to be easy, but look, we've got a choice. We can choose the heart of regret, of sitting in a chair as an old woman, looking back on our lives and thinking, I've done nothing with my life and have no opportunity to change it because those days, they're short. Or we can have we can choose the hard of discipline, self-respect, doing the counselling if we need counselling, putting ourselves through education, getting a coach, whatever that hard is, getting up early in the morning so that you can put an hour into doing the work that you have to do that's moving you towards the place you want to be. We need to each, in our own lives, sit down with ourselves and really get real about what is in the core of our hearts. What has God put there? And what do we want to pursue? Because if you get married one day, which most likely that's very, very possible. And especially, when women are pursuing their own North Star, it's a lot more attractive to a man because beauty is directional. Think about it. When you meet somebody and they've really got a clear direction of where they're heading in life, there's a certain confidence, they're inspiring, they're engaged with their life force and their energy, they're engaged with their skills and with people, and it's more beautiful, isn't it? So if you are on the journey, such as I am, of receiving the right man, then all I can say, baby, honey, girl, beautiful creature, having your North Star in place is going to do you and that blessed man that comes your way, it's going to do him a lot of good. Because after all, the Bible does say a man who finds a good wife finds favor with God. So become already that good wife. Become her now. You almost don't need the man yet. Start embodying that good wife who indeed has her own North Star already in place, and that she will pursue and continue to pursue, whether she's single or once she is married and stepped into that role as a wife. She will still pursue her own North Star. So I hope that's encouraged you. I'm going to continue bringing you content all about becoming and embodying, being that radiant woman, because I believe that women are incredibly powerful in this world. We have an influence over everybody, over children, over men, over our elders and younglings. We have an influence. And if we embrace this incredible, intricate and intelligent design of what God has made a woman to be, if we can really embrace that and instill within ourselves virtues, just like they did back in the day, all the saints and our church mothers and fathers, we start embracing that, we're going to see massive change and beauty in our own lives, and that is going to pour out into the lives of others. So I'm going to bring you some really practical episodes on how to embody that radiance, and also my own stories from my own journey. And I'm really looking forward to having you along with the new direction of this channel. And finally, I have been training as a level 3 values coach, which comes through the Oxford Uni, which has been such a blessing. Also going into my second year of counselling. So I'm educating myself. I am leading by example by expanding my own insights and knowledge so that I can show up here and give you something of value and of true comfort and true hope. And I'm so excited for what I'm going to come share with you guys, you ladies. So stay tuned, and I shall see you next week.